Well, guys, the date has finally come around. It's that time of year again. I am doing this on Facebook because I've sussed out how to download it and upload it onto YouTube. So May has been, for the last 20 years, Hypermobility EDS Awareness Month. And what the problem with that is it's all well and good having a diagnosis, but there is no system anymore that runs clinics for people with hypermobility EDS. So if you are not aware of what hypermobility EDS is, I am just going to show you very quickly. So basically, AI tools have been able to show how the physical body actually works, the internal organs and absolutely everything. So within us, within our skin, so if imagine me like a piece of chicken. So the chicken's got the skin on the outside. This is our skin. For those that have hypermobility, you may be able to do things like this. Pinch your skin up and show that your skin is quite doughy, quite soft, quite stretchy. Yeah. And as it shows, as it goes up my arm, that my skin is very stretchy. And then we go into the bones. So obviously there is a bone, and in between here is a joint. If you listen to mine, that's my shoulder, in and out of subluxation. It doesn't fully dislocate, but it sublocks a lot and it traps the nerves down my arms. There's a test that they do, it's called the Baton score. First thing they're doing is, can you put your thumb all the way down? Most people's hands go as far as there, but those with the genetic condition hypermobility, they go to there. Things like this is down to steroid abuse, because I was put on a lot of things to do with my bowels. The other thing is obviously there are internal issues, and it affects pregnancy, carrying a child, and the birth of a child. All this stuff makes people like me a high-risk pregnancy. Not a high-risk mother. I'm not saying people with conditions don't abuse children, but my heart is not like that. Now, at the end of the day, we can put our hands down on the floor. Most people cannot do that. If I can show you as well the way that my knee twists around. So basically, people within the EDS community basically go on to social media. We used to go outside, put little tents up, things like that, and basically raise the funds for the medical care for people with hypermobility EDS. But that's not how it works. What happens is doctors from England that get onto the hypermobility EDS track end up going international, because with EDS Society, they can travel around the world, they get their hotels paid for, they get their travel expenses, and they get to basically go around talking to people about EDS. But then people like us are left in situations where through school, we get abused, we're very active. I was great at athletics, great at netball, great at football, competed county for Hampshire County Council in athletics and netball, played football for the school, only girl at the time. Went through a lot of people calling me a tomboy because I BMX, things like that. Didn't tend to get on with girls, didn't want to sit around with Barbies, playing Barbie and Ken or Surveillant Family. I was quite happy being out, climbing trees, racing a bike, playing on my skates, playing on a popper. But I injured. Even playing netball, I would injure, whether it be my shoulder, my knee. I would go over on my ankles a lot. When I went to Amsterdam and Holland with school, I bust my ankle, and this ended up costing the school a fortune for medical care. I was put in a wheelchair over there because you're not allowed to go on crutches with a leg injury. Over here, I would just get neglected. So it's been a long journey for me, because while I was living down south and they were going through the what is up with Kelly, obviously I got pregnant, and my life became around being a mother that got pregnant and the relationships that I was in. I have never, ever, ever had the correct support from my family. I have never had the correct support from the system, and I have literally had to battle against people's belief systems towards me just living with this condition. And with hypermobility EDS, the spectrum diagnosis is usually autism, ADHD and dyslexia, because it's all how the brain works. What labels somebody puts on me helps in terms of when it comes to training. If I went down to a local leisure centre now and I said to them, right, I want to get healthy, I want to get active, and I want to be able to do this, the first thing they would do is build a cardiac rehabilitation thing. I don't run, and my body shouldn't run. And in fact, my body shouldn't be doing any contact sports at all. So it'd be completely pointless to force somebody like me into something that just doesn't work. And that's, if you see, people like me would probably usually go into gymnastics. They would take very flexible people, put them into gymnastics or ballet, because we're extremely flexible, very hypermobile. We would be circus contortionists. We would be the people that can get our legs up, the people that can get our legs over our head. I've got older now, and I've ended up with issues in my hips to not be able to do that. I can no longer flick my pelvis in and out the way I used to, because I have seen a chiropractor. Now, at the end of the day, I went from Preston being diagnosed with hypermobility EDS, being entitled to disability living allowance and the support that does come with the system for those, whether working or not working. What people don't understand is within benefits goes to everybody, because you're either an individual person who gets taxed by this state, or you have married person tax allowance, which means the husband has a wife and children and pays a lower tax bracket. Then you have single parent tax allowance or family tax allowance. All this stuff comes into how you are taxed, whether you are a non-for-profit, whether you are a profiteering company, and how you're going to work. For somebody like me, going and sitting at a desk all day isn't going to work. For somebody like me, being an active youth worker, as I first ever qualified to be, meant that I resulted in lots of accident forms, because whether I was running in fields or whether I was doing adventures with the children, I might hurt my wrist. And my wrist is very easy. My ulnar bone comes out, and you know, it causes problems. So I went into psychology. I went into psychology because people like me become very vulnerable to groomers. We're very pretty. I don't care what other people think. We have great features, and we're very open and great personalities. Now, at the end of the day, there's a GP, and that GP is meant to be there to then refer you up to the hospitals. The majority of the hospitals are military research facilities. I'm not a guinea pig. I am a human being, and I am a mother. Now, there are protocols that go into place for somebody like me to carry a child, and it's very easy. People like me tend to not be able to carry full term. As with Liam, my waters burst a month before. As with Daniel, I was going in and out of labour from when he was 29 weeks. I have only ever had a little bit of care whenever I'm bringing a child into the world. After that, I just get battered. Now, I changed my career in 2010 to go into politics because I felt it was the easiest thing to do with my body. And even if I did have braces or a stick or in a wheelchair, it wouldn't matter, because these are the people that are about disability equality, aren't they? Now, as you know, I changed from one area to another area where they said, Dr. Bose said, that hypermobility EDS was the easiest condition to claim to have. And because I said that I needed specialists, that makes me a narcissist, because I believe that I can only be understood by somebody qualified to get this. Now, I have to sit with people who are not qualified, who don't get it, who see us looking completely normal and don't understand what we eat is important. If we eat badly, our stomachs, we have gastroparesis, we have different problems with even urinating. There are so many issues that come with our tissues, but the ignorance and the abuse from others is worse. Whether you decide that you are going to go to train, go to the gym, keep up with your health, maybe do a few voluntary positions rather than working full time. Somebody like me couldn't sit in a factory all day. I would burn out within a couple of weeks. Somebody like me couldn't go and stack the shelves all day. Somebody like me couldn't work with little intricate things with my hands. Even the typewriter hurts my hands. And that's what EDS awareness is about. It's about getting it recognised just as much as arthritis, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease. At the end of the day, all these diseases all come from the way that the military is experimenting with the DNA of people. Now, at the end of the day, you cannot be confirmed until you're about 5 anyway. Most children are a bit bendy bots anyway, but that's not hypermobility. Hypermobility comes in like the chicken, where underneath, when you get the chicken's flesh and you have the skin on it, that is your fascia tissue. And that's what links me to the sun, and why the sun is so important for somebody like me and all of us, because the sun is where we get a lot of the things. You know, you feel better when the sun's out. When we're in the dimming, people feel miserable. It affects your moods. Since Aaron and Faith were kidnapped by Flintshire County Council, which was actually over whether or not they were going to pay the benefits in Wales and my medical stuff and me transferring, what they should have done was kick me back to England with my children. But they didn't. They stole them, they sold them, forced adoption. Since this has happened, I have dealt with so many rumours, gossips. I now know the worst level of gossip that was ever about me. And that is horrendous and horrible. And that is why I have not decided to continue with politics, because I would have to put my head above the parapet again, where people come along targeting, you're this, you're that, you're this. I have just been through 9 years of absolutely being battered, called this, that, police, social, everything at my door. It causes me trauma, because not one person ever turns around and says, so Kelly, how many hours a day do you need for your physio? What is the answer if you have an injury? And this is not just about me. This is about the 50-50 chance that I have of passing that on to my children. As I have told every person who has entered some form of relationship with me, that I have this condition, and there is a 50-50 chance of passing it on. I have never been taken seriously. Now, in terms of it being EDS Awareness Month, because it's also voting season, when voting season comes round, I get completely and utterly battered, because the parties like to throw stones at each other all the way through. Labour likes to hammer Conservatives. Conservatives like to hammer the Green Party. As I've said, all this comes together holistically. And for me, it's about a vote with no confidence, and it's about a vote for positions, because we need stability in this country. We need stability around the world. If I get on a plane with my children and I have some form of medical issue, then I should be able to attend the local GP, or at least be able to speak to my own GP to make arrangements. And that could be anything away from hypermobility. That could just be as simple as, I go to another country, I drink the water, I eat the food, and I end up with food poisoning. I've been to a festival with my children where I haven't been well, because I've ended up with food poisoning from the burger van, and I've been in a tent with 4 children at that particular point, and I hadn't been well. Mothers need a support system in place, because we do get sick. The house, the running, sorting things out, keeping it all going. We don't live in a world now where fathers are the providers and the protectors, and they go out to work, mothers stay at home, children either are homeschooled or go into an institution so the mothers can work as well. It doesn't really work within that time frame either. EDS is for life. We are born with it from the cradle to the grave, and most of us tend to die from vascular issues because of the veins and things like that. Now, at the end of the day, all I have ever needed around me is people who understand the difference between my best day and my worst day. And that worst day can be as easy as all my joints are out of position and I genuinely can't move. There is no point having people around you going, oh, you're faking it, you're lazy. What you need is a chiropractor to come in and go, crick, 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 put everything back into place. Oh, that feels better. Off swimming. Nice bit of swimming, working the body, you know, bit of cardio, bit of Pilates, you know. You don't need people who make up false allegations. Now, as a result of Aaron and Faith being taken, kidnapped, stolen, because that's what happened, saying that hypermobility EDS is the easiest condition to claim to have, and then making up false allegations. What I'm going to do away from this is write down every false accusation that has ever been put on me, even down to saying that I sold my children. I sold my children and I am a child rapist. You dirty, dirty motherfuckers. And that's why I haven't ran for Parliament. That's why I don't get to finish the EDS awareness, because people make up sick, horrible rumours to the point that people even put a website up in my name, Kelly Cotton, which is my married name and divorced name. And at the time, my ex-husband's father does have multiple sclerosis and is now rest in peace. And I felt that it wasn't right that the family's name was being tarnished by complete and utter cunts that were calling me everything from faking this condition, a narcissist, a psychopath, mad, you're crazy, you need sectioning, you do, you rape children, you're a child abuser. No, I have been abused by people that do not understand how my body works, why I love dancing, why I love skating, and why I don't want to be trapped within the system and social care that bring us below the threshold rather than raising us up. Because I look so normal, because I don't sit in a wheelchair, because I don't actually have all my braces because they're so damn expensive. So now this is the road to 50. I am single. I doubt I will ever get into a relationship after the one that I have now trying to make understand that he has 2 boys who have hypermobility EDS. And that is about all I'm going to be working on. As for the education system, as for the social care system, you're not qualified, you don't understand, you don't get it, and all you do is listen to bullshit rumours, lies, defamation, and all it's done is defamate my character. My name is Kelly, and I have a wonderful, beautiful heart. I just don't have a body that lets me get on and do things in the way that I would love to do that. But that doesn't mean that I have to be written off, and that doesn't mean that people get to slag me off, make up rumours and have me alienated, or have people gossiping shit about me, because it's been a really, really, really hard road dealing with people making up so much shit that I've had to still walk down the road with my 2 boys, knowing that there are people out there going, she's this, she's that, she's this. I would have done brilliant in Parliament. Somebody like me in Parliament pushing the social care system and for reform can really speak for the people. But I'm not running because I needed to know and prove who was making the shit up, who was defamating me, and now I can prove it. And now what I need to do is clear my name. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So this is Hypermobility EDS Awareness Month. I have EDS, it has me. And sometimes I dance. And all I've ever wanted is a dance partner that understands that my stomach can't be touched. And that if you were to pull on my hands or my wrists, that they would physically pull out of place. And if I was pushed back, that the discs in my back could actually come out. So I need to be with a dance partner who just gets that it's not competition, it's just fun. So I'm going to be making more of an effort with the people in Portsmouth. I'm going to be very open about all of the different allegations that have been put upon me, which are not true. And to those that have made up all of these lies, drop dead. That's all I can say. Forgive them, Lord, for they do know what they do. And, you know, when I was out there begging for the help over Aaron and Faith and trying to get people to help, I was dealing with people making out that I rape children, that I'm a paedophile, that I'm a nonce, that I traffic children, that I'm a psychopath and I'm this. No, hypermobility EDS is real. And I don't even enter my mind to even think the way these disgusting people have chatted shit about me. So that's why I have not ran today. That's why I cannot be voted for. But I will be out there putting the pressure on and educating and informing people on how it actually affects us. Because just because I'm down 1 minute doesn't mean I'm down for life. So, Hypermobility EDS Awareness Month. To everybody out there, please write down, you know, what people have called you. Lazy, faking it, nothing wrong with her. Just literally list all the bullshit we get while we are having struggles getting people to believe us in the first place. So happy Hypermobility EDS Awareness Month.